Oh, forgot about that. Hello, everybody. I am. I'm very happy to see everybody and talk to you today. Unfortunately, it's the Rainbow Trout event in Stardew Valley. I mean, what can I do? So, just going to say hi and skedaddle. Cheers. Mm. Ah, but indeed, you will note that Jessie is not here at present. She's coming. She's speeding her way to the table as we speak. But for the time being, you will have to assume that it is just me. Was it this? Was it the banging on the table that was super loud? Just out of curiosity. Also, how loud is this? You hear that? Do it again to find out. Hmm. Indeed. By the way, I wanted to thank those of you who voted in the poll late. I mentioned that the poll was extra spicy because it was extra spicy. But then everybody came and voted, and it's not spicy anymore. Big hello to Madeline James Wrights. She, of course, is here for Jessie, so naturally she's disappointed. I think many of us were confused that Jessie turned into a tablecloth. Um, I don't know. It was kind of a bizarre choice, I think. Just really at any stage of life. Um, but, it's her choice. And so a tablecloth she is now. And a fine one at that. So, uh, mm, mm, mm. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just start talking about the poll to kind of get that out of the way. Don't worry, you will be able to see all of it as soon as I do this, but I won't be able to see you. So, we're just going to get through this and move on. All right, so this poll was about how many cases we were going to have and like how they were going to work. So, if you remember, to catch everybody up to speed, Haugoff is a language that is primarily analytical. And it doesn't have case per se, but it has these three prepositions that affect different types of consonant mutation. And all other prepositions are built off of these three prepositions. So it's kind of like case. Anyway, with this one, we wanted to have actually, what do you call it? Composite case? I don't know. We wanted to have some affixes. We wanted to have some fun. Anyway, and so one option was just to have the Haugoff cases glom on and become prefixes. So it would be the same setup. We'd basically have an accusative, a genitive, and a locative, and a nominative, and those would be our cases. So that was option A. Option B was to expand it by adding some words in there, some nouns in there, that gave some local meaning. So this would give us, at least at the outset, a total of 8 cases. So we would add a dative, the superessive meaning on top of, the subessive meaning underneath, and an oblative coming from sequences. So basically all of these would end in the genitive. All of these cases would be built off of the genitive. They would have to be, because essentially the dative would be like lying at the heel of, and so on. So anyway, that's how those would work. And then for this one, we had case stacking, which was we only work with the 3 original cases, but then we kind of add the chase to the genitive to get an allative, and the chase to the locative to get the illative. So at the time that I spoke up about the poll, there was kind of a dead heat between B and C. A was last. When I put up my announcement on the Discord. Everybody came in and voted. Overwhelmingly, it was just a landslide for case stacking. So the 11th hour voters pushed it in favor of option C, which is easier. So, that's nice. And maybe we can think of how some of these other combinations might turn into cases. I don't know. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep the original ones and stack them up a little bit and create some new cases. And that is going to be the start of our nominal morphology. You might have seen that Jesse has elected to present as something other than a tablecloth at this stage. And I am totally in favor of that. I was fine with the tablecloth decision. Totally your decision. Whichever way you want to present is fine with me.
Yeah, I'm ready to be able to type.
As for me,
Tablecloth was difficult.
I remain, hang on, short and sassy.
Oh, yeah, I think, yeah.
I got it,
okay,
I got
yeah,
it.
you got in there. Okay. There's actually, in Duolingo, there was an example sentence today in the Spanish lesson that I did. And it was like, her husband is not tall. Her husband is a nice short man. And I was like, oh, that's like mine. Yeah. Okay.
All right, now I'm going to catch up on chat. Let's see here.
I feel like it's back to looking dark, and I was trying to play with angles.
I didn't move this.
No, but last week you didn't either. Last week it stayed back there.
Well, why don't I move it closer?
But it feels like it's this side that's darker, and I don't know what would normally be over here to make it brighter. Oh, wow. Ooh, Patrick is also doing Spanish. Nice.
Who's Patrick?
Some person on here.
Probably nobody I've met, yeah.
It's my best friend.
Yeah. Patrick is actually a member of the extended Boobaverse, because we have Jake and Miles, who are Let's Have a Booba, and then Jonathan, who is he has an honorary doctorate from Boobaversity, and then beyond that, you have Mateus as kind of a well-wisher, and then Patrick is in his extended family.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what was that cat documentary we watched?
Kitty.
That was really good if anyone's looking for just a lovely little documentary, because reading about cats in Istanbul made me think about it. But yeah, it's a great documentary. And as far as I remember, there was actually if there was speaking, it was all in another language, so you had to read subtitles. And I can't remember if it was that there was no speaking at all and it was all subtitles, or if there was speaking and we just had to read the subtitles, and now I can't remember, but very good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm ready, I think.
All right. Because, it's happening now. It's getting grammar.
And we have some case stuff to work on. And now I can't even find the page where we were writing about it. And I know it's in here somewhere. It's before the charts, right? Yeah, there. Ooh, I found it. Ooh, I need a gold star. I have found the page where we had notes. Magpie is asking, if I'm quiet.
Hang on.
I can't answer. Magpie's ears, maybe I need to sit up a little bit.
Well, ordinarily I put this thing in the middle, but I set it up without your computer being there. So.
Right. And I was letting my computer charge till the very last second, just in case. So far, so good, by the way, but it had some problems earlier. Watson.
Well, welcome.
Wow.
It's nice to know you as you are, Watson. Oh, it's Biblaridian.
Aw, so nice to have our community here together, and it's delightful. All right, so David, the case stacking.
Yeah.
That was expansion.
It was C.
Which was not written here. Right.
Yeah. It's also a tough time for me because I have a cut on my lip, and so it makes talking unpleasant.
It was right after you had done this to your hair or something, so I thought you were gonna say it's a tough time for you because your hair, and I was like, oh, David. Sometimes when David gets a haircut, he worries about how his hair looks.
It doesn't look as good in the videos I was hoping for, but it looks good in real life, so I'm fine with that. I had to fix it up, but
Oh, hey, this is a good community to ask. Have any of you done I'm looking at potentially starting another Duolingo class for fun. But I got frustrated in some of them because it just wasn't organized well, where they just throw lots of vocab at you and then you see that vocab in 3 sentences, and then they wait and spring it on you again 8 lessons later, where it's you haven't given me this word in a long time. But anyway, have any of you had good experiences or not so good experiences with Greek or Navajo? Those are the 2 languages I'm looking at now that I'm thinking I may start. But I want to know if it's worth it, or if I should just stick to Spanish and French. Seem pretty well built out. So Mateus has tried modern Greek. I don't feel like the verb try in there means you enjoyed it, or... Oh, okay. Well, that seems like enough then. Get flirty compliments. Can learn enough Greek for that. All right. Oh, so was C actually expansion B? Was that
it is
lined up that way?
Yeah. I am
Excuse me while I open my fizzy drink.
I've been having problems lately with my computer, FYI. If anybody is a Mac engineer, it seems to be causing slowdowns when I open a document in Pages that is a large. You can imagine that this makes translating for the current season of House of the Dragon into High Valyrian rather challenging. That document is over 450 pages long, and it'll be the type of thing we're just doing normal things selecting things will cause a beach ball. Anyway, since the stream is actually running from my laptop, if this becomes a problem, in other words, if you notice that the stream is hanging up at times and it ordinarily doesn't for you, please let me know.
You shut down that document for now, right? You close it out when you're not working on it?
Oh, yeah. Shut down everything. But I do have both Hauhoff and Fox open because it's useful to have both open.
Right.
And I'd like to keep it that way. Anyway, so I feel like we've made almost all the decisions that we need to have made for our... for me to just put these cases into Lexergy and have it come out correct, right?
Great.
Because we're going to start with these 3. We're going to start with the old I, Om, and Hua, and see what we get.
Patrick is really doing his best to get kicked out of everything here. crossing you on Discord now saying it's got some dang nerd on it. I'm assuming that's you. Because I'm just a nerd, not a dang nerd.
Patrick exudes this aura of somebody who is sometimes 12, sometimes 20, sometimes 70. It's very confusing.
Was this a 70-year-old comment?
It's like if
Those ding dang nerds taking over my TV screens.
if you were to ask what type of a person is Patrick, the answer would be yes.
Oh, Patrick. Okay, so we need to...
Give me some nouns.
Wait, didn't we, like... Did we create our first nouns in here, or was I making that up? Was that verbs that we did?
I mean, we've got Halkoff.
I know, I should have Halkoff open. I thought we made our first dictionary entries, but I think we made our first charts, not dictionary entries. And so please give me a second while I get Halkoff open. So that way then I can feed you forms.
I'm really sorry to hear about your back, Mateus, given how tall you are. It seems like the taller you are, the more important your back is.
Says the short and sassy one.
Mm-hmm. Loving my height.
Okay. Let's start with...
I'm actually gonna take this off. I'm gonna put it on Lexergy here and zoom. Does that work? Is that actually getting bigger? That's gotten bigger. There we are. So we got I, Om, and Nope.
Alright, so I'm going to start with a vowel initial noun. Just so that way we can see, you know, that, and then we're going to test out a variety of consonant initial nouns.
Okay.
So let's do our word for cat. That seems like a perfect word to be testing for the fox, the cat dog language. E-H, pharyngeal H. Is the protoform.
Right. I wanna do something really quick. I'm gonna put these in with and without a space. Let's see what happens. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I'm waiting for YouTube to catch up.
Luckily, there was nothing there that
I
couldn't
see.
be seen.
Okay.
It was just our LangTime folder. Interesting. Very interesting.
Too many vowels. And so we're getting all sorts of concerns there. Would it make a difference, though? Like, it makes sense that it just is breaking down. Although I guess I don't understand, what is the error actually about? Like, what are they... What does the message say?
The segment E and I doesn't fit the syllable structure. No syllable pattern can start with E. Do we have any rules about it?
Why not? Like, why can't a syllable start with a vowel?
I mean, that's not the real error. That's just the error that it's telling you. The error is that there's too many vowels in a row and it doesn't know what to do. It's breaking at the resyllabification.
Right, but wouldn't the resyllabification even then just be like, oh, vowel, because the syllables say consonants are optional. So why wouldn't it just say there's 3 syllables there?
It might be because the vowel A doesn't exist at that stage. Only A and E do. I don't know. Anyway, it's not super important.
Well, it bugs me, but okay.
I'm also not seeing any differences. So anyway, let's move on. Let's continue with just the spaces. Give me something that starts with a consonant, like Brahm, for example, dog.
Well, how about we go ahead and do Bram? B-R-A-M.
Okay. So this is what we're looking at so far. Looks like they're coming out as I, Om, and Ho. I'm sure that if we throw in something with a D, it'll come in differently.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't diphthong these, and so it's coming out as I,
I mean, evidently.
like Ibram instead of Ibram. I don't. I couldn't
Yep.
remember.
That's weird. Is that what's supposed to happen?
That's kind of what I'm asking you. I don't know, David. Um, where are our sound? Here's our sound rules. Because I thought we already did. Yeah, AE becomes I as a diphthong.
Yeah.
Did I miswrite the rules that it doesn't allow for those diphthongs? I mean, I guess it's fine as long as we know.
What happened to that huge old thing? Remember when we had that huge table about what happens to all the vowel sequences?
Well, there's not a huge table, but after 6, the diphthong polarization,
No.
there's a table.
No, that we got rid of. We got rid of the table after we decided on the sound changes. There was a very, very big table. It was gray. It was about what happened to every single vowel.
But if you just said we got rid of it, then
Mm-hmm.
where we got rid of it?
I'm kind of asking why we did that.
Oh, you mean for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got rid of it because we did all the changes and you didn't want it there anymore.
Pretty sure something was supposed to happen to I. Somewhere around the neighborhood of Magpie's Miracle.
Even Carl remembers the table. Do you want me to give you more? I can look through the old PDFs that we posted for patrons.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Vowel sequences with a like back feature, ow, o, a, merge triumphantly to become monophthongal vowels that are round and of a height that is one step higher than the first vowel. Thus, o becomes o becomes u, and e becomes e. Oi and au become u, while u becomes u. It could be that I was the only one that survives.
I have not yet located. Because I remember we had it in over the course of 2 weeks because we had tested things.
Danielle is saying I actually managed to do a bit of conlinging at Queercraft Night this week, and what I'm imagining is that there was a big circle of people doing crafting, and then Danielle excused herself and went to the corner like a spider and did some conlinging. Every so often somebody would turn and look and they'd say, "Don't look at her. She's conning lings."
She's calling. How long ago was this?
I got a little fuzz.
Here. Gosh, this was like way long ago.
All right.
Okay, now the problem is we got rid of the table after we figured things out. And so we don't have the final stage, babe. But according to this, AI stays AI.
Okay.
According to this, again, this is not final because there's a more column with exclamation marks that's empty. And so.
Oh yeah, but like if that's the last one that has the table, then.
Right, but it was in that next episode that we then completed the table and did the things, and then we deleted the table, and so that has the final answers.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that I stays I.
And that's fine that it does. It's just, It looks, because we specifically say oi and au disappear. we got rid of those. And yeah, I don't see anything happening to I as those vowel changes happen. So I think we retained I.
Okay. So,
Which is fine. I just don't like. Hi. It would be good if we had that. I guess it doesn't matter. Again, as long as Lexergy is going to give it us 2 syllables, we'll know to make it 1 is fine.
we have a cat that sometimes looks at us, climbs up on the wall there, and looks at us. I try to coax the cat down. This is a gray cat that looks like the cat is wearing guide liner. And I've actually gotten the cat to jump into our patio. I've opened the door for this cat. Came close, but then a sound scared it away.
So, David, another form to test if you want to keep testing nouns. Or do you want to keep staring at that one for a while?
Hang on a sec.
Okay.
Wow. Danielle's adding people's names to, I'm going to say, a communal quilt. No.
Specifically a language. Goodness.
And there is, I do want to mention, please, everybody, go back to yesterday and watch Let's Have a Booba at 1:30 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday. We're looking forward to being able to get back in to watch it next week. Past 2
we
weeks
were
have been
on an airplane on Tuesday. That was when we were on the airplane.
Mm-mm.
We weren't on an airplane at 1:30?
No.
We took off at 1.
We remember our days?
It was Tuesday, wasn't it?
It was Monday.
It was Monday. We weren't on an airplane.
Tuesday we were in the middle of lunch.
Lunch with students.
Mhm.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is right. No, I don't remember my days because when we have a 24-hour trip, I get confused. And yeah, David did just say yesterday was Tuesday. I forgave him for that, though.
Just yesterday, plus or minus 1. I think that's obvious.
Obvious, yes. Ooh, and an episode of Carl's comes out tomorrow.
All right. That is Neography A to Z, so take a look out or keep an eye out for that. It comes out every other Friday. Oh man, starting to lose it, man. Know what I'm saying?
Well, I was asking if you wanted to put another form in, like,
Well,
copy down these 3, because I was going to give you an onset of a fricative. Bell is tree. And so,
I mean, sure, but we're kind of at a point where we can tell what the flavor of the bird is, so to speak. Don't you sass me.
wow, David. That took a lot of tries.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, but it's looking like it doesn't really matter. We're going to get something that's I or om or ho with a long O.
Okay.
And we have to ask ourselves quite seriously how we feel about this.
Is there a difference if you attach them when they start with a consonant? I know we're getting error messages because the vowels, but like if they're attached rather than written with a space, are there actually any sound changes that we're skipping over because of this?
Let's take a look. Not there.
No, yeah, it's I, and ho. And I don't see any consonant shifts either.
Now let's make sure that they're applying at all. Give me something that starts with a D.
We have a pharyngalized D-A-L is side, duh, with our fancy L. Or daïve is fruit, D-A-E, beta.
Doll works. Did it again. It's because I...
These prefixes are going to be case prefixes.
Okay, so at least the M is going to an N, but not even the F changes intervocalically? Is there anything that changes intervocalically?
If I did things correctly in Lexergy, then no. No, none of these end in obstruents. If some of them ended in obstruents, it would change the voicing of a following obstruent. Potentially, if they were put together earlier. None of them end in emphatic consonants. That would change the vowel quality that follows. So I think it's just the fact that they don't end in anything that's triggering changes.
All right.
That is, what's like, you know how like something is a flex when you're just, or like humble brag. I guess flex and humble brag are the same thing, where you just like throwing in something that's, you know, makes you look really good. What is the word for it when you like throw in something that's irrelevant but not particularly good or bad?
Why? What happened?
That's what Miles said. What happened, Jake? I was online shopping.
What kind of shopping were you doing? Now I want to know. Were you shopping for online servicers, or were you shopping at an online location? And
I mean, the what happened, Jake, was sufficient. I would actually watch a Twitch stream of Miles online shopping.
just seeing
Yeah.
what Miles thinks of all the things.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know,
Matei says, I think that's called conversation. Very true. Very true. And Miles, I think David would watch the PC and the Real Answer versions on Twitch.
it'd be
Both.
so cool. Like, and like as the stream evolved, you know, you would develop like certain things, like, you know, and you're like, oh, here comes the impulse buy, and then there's like graphics and everything. And then the last thing that you would do for each episode is be like, all right, time to go to my cart. Cart, you know, blows up on screen. And you'd be like, do I need this? And, you know, everybody in chat would be going, yes, you need it. You need to. I would watch the hell out of that.
All right, so Miles, we have fixed you up with a new career. Get on that. And also, welcome back, Kobe. It's good to have you back.
Oh, well, hello. I remember that name. It's nice to see you. So, as we actually look at this, so I mean, maybe there'll be some sound change surprises. It doesn't look like there's going to be. We have to ask ourselves, how much weight do we want these to have?
I would think as prefixes they would reduce. And so like the long vowel I think would shorten. The I think could potentially either become or a, you know, something a bit shorter. When I comes before a vowel, And now just a second, before I say something, I need to double check what sounds we have in this language.
Yeah, we don't have like palatals, do we?
We sure do not. That's what I was just gonna check, because I was like, it could become like, aye instead of aye. That may be something we want to consider, is just like this in the modern consonants as a green, put in a ya, where it like only occurs when I comes before a vowel, and you would get, aye instead of ia.
Oh, Kobe, don't get too excited.
Then
we killed the pharyngeals. The pharyngeals exist for the dogs, though. This is a sister language of the dogs.
Then the other kind of wild thing I was thinking, do we allow consonant clusters? Oh, goodness, babe, I'm really struggling to remember what we have and don't have. But H-O before a consonant, but that O could become a W before a vowel. And so hui instead of hui.
Well, that's... no, it's not what happened. We actually dropped the H in Helkov. That would be something new. Something new.
So those are my thought processes right now, which we would then introduce two new things if we liked that. But I do think that they would shorten. And so, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to throw some things at you.
I feel like you just danced at me and I missed it, and I'm really sad. I like seeing you dance.
What's this?
It's very slight dancing, but I do like the eyebrow wags. There we go. Now David's getting into it.
All right. So, it could be ho before consonants, and then it does become hua, but then we lose the H and it's just a wa.
Nice. I like that.
And
what do you think about this weird I before vowel situation?
I don't like it. We don't have any real palatals. We don't have anything in the language that where like, E goes to ja.
Right. And so even like aje.
I was thinking it might go to sha, but I was clearly remembering tzitzash.
What happens if we drop what was a proto E becomes I, so modern day small I. What if we just put an A in front of that word? EH. It would just come out as I in modern form. Is there something like if we reduced it as to an prefix before it ever attaches to anything? It would end up doing all the things that vowel combinations do, right?
Yeah, the only issue would be words that begin with two vowels. Do we have an example of that?
Of two vowels? Yeah.
Word has to start with two vowels.
I think there were some up in the A's, and I'm going to... No, there weren't. Okay.
Oh, Patrick with a trenchant observation.
Seed is OA pharyngeal T.
OA pharyngeal T. It's an oat?
It is an oat. Oat. It'll probably break it because there's three vowels.
Every time I see you falling, I get down on my knees and pray. Ayot.
Can you do that again, David, please.
Honey, whenever you want. Ayot.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Obviously, yeah, it breaks with the multiple vowels.
Do you remember the band Better Than Ezra?
Yeah.
All right, they had
Good old BTE.
Yeah, they had one hit, right, which was wow, it was good living with you.
Huh?
Wow, it was
Oh.
good living with you. Wow, that
They
song.
had more than that hit.
They had a song called Porcelain that got some radio play. But on their first album, their last song before the secret track was called Coyote. And the chorus of that was Coyote. Remember?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think the song Good, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that one?
Yeah, it was good living with you. Wow.
Okay. They have an eggnog sing-along.
BTE, big teeth energy. I love that.
Oh, man. Okay. So, yes, I like that, Magpie. This language has one word that is tonal, and it's that one word, ayot. It's and you got to do it in the right tone, or it's just ruined. And I don't know, like if you do it in the wrong tone, it becomes a curse word or something. But everything else is just stress, no tone.
Bib, what is closer to the original Nahuatl? Is it coyote or coyote? I would like to know your opinion.
Do you have to say it that way? Coyote.
Isn't that how y'all say it?
Oh, man. Danielle's partner scored a dream full-time job.
Yeah, I forgot to mention I sent out a congratulation email for the LangTime assistant job.
Sorry that the only payment is hugs and good energy.
And you get a free Copico on your first day of work. After that, you have to pay for them.
And on your birthday.
I didn't get a free half sandwich on my birthday at Togo's.
I don't care. This is not Togo's. We are better than Togo's.
We're a slight step up.
All right, David. All right. We gotta be serious.
Yeah.
Be serious.
So. All right.
One more breath. You got this.
I feel like we have a very clear path forward for two of these cases. So with ohm, I love the OM prefix.
Sometimes ON.
And I think before a vowel, it's just BM.
Nice.
Okay. With the hua, I like your idea. Basically, I think it's going to be W before a vowel and stick with just regular HO before a consonant. We'll see if the W ends up becoming a va. I don't know. Anyway, this I thing.
It's killing us.
I love the idea of before a consonant.
Coyote is closer.
So the second one is slightly closer. How about that? You and your coyotes.
Anyway,
Oh, you never seen a coyote? We have coyotes wandering these streets. This is a relatively new phenomenon.
which is my fear for zero.
Oh yeah. You know, since it's been brought up, I know this won't mean anything because most of you are not in Southern California, but if you find yourself here or in an area surrounding that, the Pasadena Women's Rugby Club has lost their darling mascot, Zero, a little Chihuahua. He's kind of a white Chihuahua, apparently.
Chihuahua mix.
Chihuahua
Not pure
mix.
Chihuahua, but Chihuahua enough that you would look and say that dog's
The
Chihuahua.
nails on one of the paws, I think the left paw, are painted pink. And
there's a little pink stripe.
Little pink stripe. He's been lost. Apparently, this was around Westminster, even though the team plays in Pasadena. Westminster is very near to where we are. If you know anybody around these parts, have them on the lookout. They actually have a website, findzero.org. Anyway, we saw some just like random signs in several different places around where we live, and it made it look like viral marketing. And so we actually looked it up, and that's what we found.
When David says we saw signs, what I saw, I didn't see any signs. I saw that every column under a bridge had been spray painted, findzero.org.
Oh.
Like, just real quick, not like fancy.
I actually didn't see the .org. I only saw the actual handwritten signs.
And so, like, we thought it was something kind of shady, but I looked it up anyway, and then found out it was this cute little dog. So.
This morning, including a Looney Tunes medley. Well, that sounds lovely, Jonathan. I would have loved to have seen that.
So, David?
Yeah, a couple orders of business here, though. I do at some point in time, you need to talk about how you made the Monmouth stew, because Aaron is here.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But anyway, I also feel like we feel good about what we're doing with I before consonants. So it's just I before vowels. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like, I know it's not sanctioned. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm about to suggest has no reason to be in this language, other than a nod to tzitzash. Esh before vowels.
I shot.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. I don't know what to do with it. Because without the ya, we do have. Oh wait, I'm looking in the wrong document.
So instead of Wile E. Coyote, it would be.
Coyote.
I don't know. I was gonna say. The only adjective I thought of is terrible. Oh God. All right, just shut your ears if this could if you're a youngin, but instead of Wile E. Coyote, maybe Scrotal Coyote.
So anyway, applications for a new co-host are open.
Where's Madeline? Is she still here? She's laughing.
Total
Coyote.
Hey. Look at Patrick. Jake could be my new co-host. So David, an epenthetic consonant that doesn't add much, we could get just an H in there. Before consonant, before vowels like ahe. We have an L that's not weighty. Of course, the W is not weighty, but because it's being used for the O, I don't really like that. It feels like, even though it's like a weak fricative and kind of just a breath of air, the labial fricatives don't feel right, because you then have to do something that you wouldn't be doing with an I sound. Afe. That doesn't make sense to me. The H makes sense to me. Ahe. Just to kind of add something to go in between. We do have a ja. A J. Shove that in there. A jot. But ahot, I feel like might be the best.
If we went the epenthetic consonant route, we should probably declare an epenthetic consonant.
Which would make sense given our smashing together and Lexergy not appreciating the smashing together.
Mm-hmm.
And so I could say if there's vowel, 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 or vowel, 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 vowel,
Mm-hmm.
insert X between blank vowel, vowel. Like it would need to be, I think you would leave the last two vowels together. So if there's three vowels in a row, insert, or am I only feeling that because we're doing prefixes?
No, no, no. I mean, no. It's totally. I get it. So let's throw out some suggestions for a purely epenthetic consonant. We have H. I think that's a solid suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about R, especially if this ends up being a tap? I forget how we decided to do that. Was it a trill at the beginning of a word? Did we declare that?
I thought it was a trill in between vowels.
Why is everybody going yet? This is feeling like the one day blinding stew type of thing.
A little tap becomes a mighty trill after a vowel gives it the boost and courage it needed.
Hey! Oh, that's so cute.
So it's after vowels. And so here it would be a trill because there would be a vowel before it.
That's pretty. It's pretty.
It suddenly
weighty.
becomes bigger.
Yeah, could be an epenthetic that then just becomes the marker. I don't know, but no, it's too weighty. All right, so, all right, what shall our epenthetic consonant be for our foxy fellows? We have H. S is short.
Is it too strong?
It's pretty strong.
I always think of, but then again, maybe that's what they want. Maybe they want to have a. Okay, so L was one I had. It's just sort of like back there.
Yeah.
It's there.
And it's going to be
It's in the mouth.
a much more common L now. S is the epenthetic consonant in Japanese. This is news to me. Do you have an example? And don't worry if you don't have one right away. I'm going to remember that.
David, we wouldn't necessarily want a trill to be inserted. So what about an intervocalic D? Which is, it could be a soft. So it would become Aido.
Yeah. Aido or Ado?
Sorry, I was thinking full diphthong.
Yeah.
So Ado would be, would be how this prefix would come out.
Huh. Well, I never realized that. Thank you, Jake.
Okay, so S is on the table then.
It's not strong enough for Japanese. And Japanese has some very weak fricatives. That's interesting.
It may be a fact of like other sounds are too weak, and it's like you're inserting something, you want it to know it's being inserted.
Yeah.
So I think 4 options.
Yeah.
We could throw the S back in there.
Yeah.
D, S, L, and H. Let's see what people think.
That would actually be pretty funny if the epenthetic consonant was a pharyngeal approximant. And that was the only place it was ever used. So, Abram and then Ai for cat.
While this is going, so Aaron, I made some substitutions, but I made Monmouth stew. Um, some of the substitutions were out of necessity. Like when we went to the grocery store, the lamb selection was
Mm-hmm.
very poor indeed. And so I ended up using beef instead, which I know really changes the nature of the flavor um, of whatnot, but it was still good.
Yeah.
Also, like, hooray for me, changing it to beef, they sold packages of pre-cut stew beef. And so, like, I didn't even have to cut the meat. It was really nice. It was really nice, especially on a day where I had a lot of other things and I was kind of doing the cooking on top of it. And instead of using all leeks, I did half leeks and half fennel. I added some carrots because I had some, and so why not? And yeah, I think those are the main ones. But it turned out very delicious, and I think David rather enjoyed it.
Miles is buying stew beef is so smart, and Miles, is the online shopper.
Exactly, yes.
Uh,
Um,
the stew is outstanding.
we actually just finished it off last night.
Yeah, it was really wonderful. I would love to try it with lamb. Um, I feel like in the U.S. People don't like lamb as much, which is weird. It seemed normal to me growing up.
It's not available at all stores, and when it is, it often is like at a third of a single column of a shelf, and then everything around it is something else. And so it's like it's sort of whatever they have there for the moment. And yeah, it just was not what I was looking for. Um, so that happens.
Anyway, for the poll, it looks like H is winning pretty solidly. So, I mean, that was your first suggestion. So,
It feels kind of,
hmm
let's add this here, just make it work. I think I'm gonna try to officially make that part of Lexergy. Um,
oh, wow, more power to you. Uh,
it needs to be before.
what are our?
I think I'm gonna do it in between proto-syllables and. I guess even before proto. Because if we want to push these together in earlier forms, we need it to be before it tries to verify proto-syllables, right?
Yes.
So then it'll work and it won't give us an error. And nothing happens to H intervocalically. It's going to be a pharyngeal H first, which is fine. But then it's going to go to a regular H later. And I think it'll just stay there. Okay, I'm going to see what happens. I'm sorry, your stuff is going to get ruined.
It's that's kind of a regional thing in the U.S. Like there isn't a lot of Middle Eastern food around here. Where I had lamb consistently was in Fresno, where I was a part of the Armenian community, and lamb was common. Oh, so Jake, that was actually a typo, and you meant had. I thought you were like saying in a cutesy way that a lamb roast was coming this Sunday. Kind of like the I has a cheeseburger way.
Okay, so babe, I think it works now.
Mint sauce is a thing that I associate with the American South. Um, Also older. Um,
No, no, it does not.
there was a joke on The Simpsons that Grandpa Simpson at one point says, "Call me mint jelly because I'm on the lam." I didn't get that for a long, long time. Patrick, do you go to a separate location to watch LangTime Studio? Like, do you, you know, like, oh, LangTime Studio is coming. I'm going to go to my rented business space where I have my setup to watch LangTime Studio. Is that what happened?
Okay, David, while you're considering this, I want to ask you a very serious question.
Yeah.
If you're entering a protoform with 3 vowels in a row,
Mm-hmm. I mean, we shouldn't be.
when we're smashing these together, that's how we're getting them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh no, I did it again. I'm sorry.
This prefix, we would end up reducing in the protoform. So when we put it into Lexergy, we would only put A in, not AE, because we're saying it never occurs as I, so we don't.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it's always going to be vowel, break, vowel, vowel if there's 3 vowels in a row. Never vowel, vowel, break, vowel.
Not yet.
The not yet worries me, but.
Well, we haven't done anything with suffixes yet. We might. Since modifiers come second, you can imagine diminutives, augmentatives, things like that.
So right now, we haven't defined diphthongs. And because we haven't defined diphthongs, it won't treat anything. It's just going to treat it as, I see this as a vowel because you've told me it's a vowel. And so, for instance, entering A-E-E-H gives you the wrong form because there's no way to get the H inserted because the base is just EH. There's no way to say, treat that differently from A-O-A-T, where you want the OA to stay together.
Let me help, I think. I don't think that we need to put in something that's going to generate the cases for us. I don't think that's a big deal because we're just going to have tables for that.
And we'll just remember to put the H in?
Yeah, yeah. It's the general appendices rule that we might want in there. But maybe not. But we can remember. We can remember this. Don't worry.
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna write it somewhere.
I'm gonna take these away then because it's not working the way I want it to, without defining diphthongs. And if we define diphthongs, it gets a little messy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As a general note, the epenthetic consonant of LangTime is, we'll call that, but modern. Oh, something I did really quick off screen last time is I wrote up the entire romanization system because it was extremely straightforward. So, we have the umlaut for a, umlaut for e, and otherwise we're ready to go for adding stuff. All right, well let's do it then. We're going to start right here. We're going to have at least 5 cases. So, singular and plural. We were going to do something with that. So let's delete those columns. Let's delete that row for the time being. We're going to add. Let's just start here. So we have nominative, accusative. What did we call the other two? Like genitive and locative.
In this expansion, genitive, locative, accusative, and then, yeah, we'll have illative and allative when we get there.
You know, I feel like our next poll overall is probably going to be number. So I'm just going to kind of leave this like this for right now. We may be able to sneak more words in here, but I'll do different ones. But let's go ahead and do this.
Yay!
Abram, and Ombram. I like that. You kind of linger over it. Okay. This is going to be, we'll call this C initial. Our word for cat is, I think,
E-H-A, whatever that comes out as.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering what it comes out as.
I'm gonna let you do it because if I type anything in there, I kill your entire input word list. It comes out as ich.
Yep.
That is so catty.
All right, and this is going to be right. Oh, ooh, let's see what happens. Okay, it stays as W. Proto W comes out as W. That's weird, isn't it?
What'd you think would happen?
Thought it would become a V. We're getting some construction outside.
Is it a V before an O?
No.
We didn't V up that.
We did. What happened? You chase that down. I'm going to pretend that like it's W for right now.
It only goes to phi and beta after voiceless and voiced segments. That should be after a vowel, but not before. It's word
Not
initial.
before a vowel.
Yeah, word initial, nothing happens.
By the way, I wanted to draw some attention to something that Jake had said earlier.
Not to what Miles just said.
I last bought lamb from the famous Massive shop. As if we were supposed to know what that is. I crave it like a goat to the salt cliffs. All right, and then something that's going to show some sort of change. So maybe something that begins with a. What was the D side? Are we still happy with that meaning side? Dal?
Let me find another D word that.
Okay.
Yeah, DAE beta is fruit. DOB both pharyngalized as bone. Those feel like words that are a little bit stronger.
What was bone again?
Pharyngeal D, O pharyngeal B. Dobe.
Ha! Deb. It comes out as Deb.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
Right? Because it ends up things, it's a post-emphatic consonant, vowel raising, etc., etc.
Da. You are the Deb. I know where your friend is. Let's see.
There's all these mountain haters.
I like looking at them in pictures.
I love mountains.
Bam. We got some cases, Jess.
Celebration.
You're almost there. Celebrate with Copico. Da, 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 da.
Cheers.
Cheers, partner. Mm. Copico. Enjoy it discreetly. Mmm. 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 Absolutely love the taste of Copico. Mmm. Mmm.
Never once, babe.
Mm.
You have been so called out.
Mm.
I went the wrong way to look at our beautiful chart.
Imagining,
there we go.
Imagining Patrick watching this, calling out, "Grandma, come down! Jonathan called David out!" That was Patrick.
Is that what Patrick sounds like?
Yeah, we can say whatever we want about him. He's en route. He's going home to go to sleep.
Wow.
Oh,
What I missed?
That's definitely going in the top 10 for this episode. Miles, what in the pig call was that? Mm. Mm, mm, mm.
Right.
This is a new arrangement of sounds for me, Scunthorpe. Is this a real thing?
People are acting like it is.
Hmm. Skegness?
It's a town in Lincolnshire, England.
Hmm.
It is the third most populous settlement after Lincoln and Grimsby, I think, in that area.
Hmm. Skegness is apparently also a town. And apparently, Aaron is not down with the Skegness.
They have a soccer team.
Oh.
Scunthorpe.
Hmm. What's the soccer team called? The Skunkies?
Scunthorpe United FC.
Boo! They could have been the Scunthorpe Skunks.
But let's see if I can make this work. There you go. Now you can check your phone. David.
Okay.
David.
I'm coming. Oh.
I sent the logo.
I like that, actually. Kind of have the colors of Aston Villa. These are not popular. This is not a popular color combination in American sports. The first one to try to do it, actually, is the upcoming WNBA team called the Toronto Tempo, which is not only one of the worst names I've ever heard, it is easily the worst. I think it's the worst sports logo of the past 20 years. You have to see this.
While you're doing that, David, Juno had just said that Scunthorpe is different from the Scunthorpe problem. The Scunthorpe problem is the unintentional blocking of online content by spam filter or search engine because their text contains a string or substring of letters that appear to have an obscene or otherwise unacceptable meaning.
Is this showing up? Yeah.
So names, abbreviations, and technical terms are most often cited as being affected by the Scunthorpe problem.
Huh.
And it's called that
Because
of Scunthorpe, the name,
right.
gets blocked.
So this logo right here is the type of logo that you expect from an athletics company that provides uniforms for, like, you know, like kids, juvenile sports. Like you could move tempo up, remove Toronto, and just put athletics below it, and they'd be like, oh yeah, they make uniforms for kids soccer teams. It's terrible. I mean, it's just terrible, and everybody knows it's terrible, and it's remained, which kind of surprises me. Um, the new Boston team for the NWSL, new women's soccer team, they took theirs back. Forget what it was called, Boston something or other. Anyway, they actually took theirs back. I think the Toronto Tempo should do the same. There's time. I don't know what they're thinking.
Wow. Now I'm reading about, they give very specific examples of the Scunthorpe problem with domain names, account registrations, where people had to actually like file things against companies. There are some fascinating ones, and ones that show racism/ethnicism on the parts of companies, including Linda Callahan was blocked from registering her mail with Yahoo because it had Allah in it.
Oh,
right? Like, and that was in 2006. In 2006, we're having this issue. Like, I am just, holy cow. Oh, Bibleridian is working on the new logo still.
all right. Sorry, we're having a little hang up. Okay, we did a D. We did that. We know that there's no change for because we tried that. G, there will be a change, but it won't be an orthographic one. It's just going to be N before G, which is Angma. But let's...
Do you want to do H?
I'm just going to try a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well.
What did we find out?
We have an issue.
I'm waiting for YouTube to catch up so I can see what the issue is. Oh, I think I'm behind. There we go. Let's try that. So this is with the R? Is that what you're looking at? Mm-hmm.
And you see the output words?
We get jus, I
Aijou.
jo.
And then for the rest. So if we lose that palatalizer early on, we should not get that. It should be arau. If we lose it later at some point, then we could get ajou. Now, I think phonologically, we both know what we like.
I think we can lose it later, though, because the thing is that before consonants, it's just going down to, it's just reducing. the H insertion is going to happen between I and any vowel initial thing. So it's going to be, you know,
Okay.
H insertion. The I doesn't affect the H, right? Like nothing palatalizes about the H.
I don't believe so.
That would be our only issue, is if we're using this epenthetic and then suddenly.
No.
Okay, so in that case, I say, yeah, the I becomes a as a prefix later.
Okay. Want to see if it's the same thing here? Yeah, same thing there. Okay. Okay. Huh. Fascinating, 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 fascinating. Okay. 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 Let me just throw some W's in here. Okay, good, 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 good. Très bien, très bien. Okay, good. Fantastique. L'autre.
So.
Oh, because those aren't things. Never mind. Don't you worry.
As David is testing, so Biblaridian, David and I recently watched.
Oh my God.
The third season of White Lotus, which is not necessarily important to you, except for the fact that when there were people speaking Thai on screen, they showed the subtitles in English, but they didn't just show subtitles in English. In faint outline behind the English subtitles were Thai subtitles. So it was like an overlay of...
It's like a background.
Yeah, like of the Thai script, sort of very light and faded. And so, like, you know, there were certain backgrounds on screen where you wouldn't necessarily see the Thai as much. But then if it's like, you know, on a lighter background, you could really see the dark imprint of the Thai script behind the English translation, which was foregrounded. Now, the only reason I say this is because Biblaridian had questioned whether he should keep the B or use some version of a glyph for a B that he has created for a language. My question is there a way to do something like what we saw with the captions of White Lotus, to have like a glyph as a sort of background, you know, portion, and then foregrounded the B, so that way it would be on top and very easily seen as a B, so you could still have it, but you could also incorporate glyph in the background.
I wouldn't say that this qualifies as a palimpsest. Palimpsest, apparently. And I will tell you why. It's because it wasn't, you know, effaced. It was actually set up to kind of be a background. It actually helped the, you know, whites stand out more. The only difference, though, is that sometimes, you know, you got to see the very interesting times where, for example, the English translation was like 2 words, and what was said in Thai was this long, you know.
And actually, if you Google White Lotus Thai captions and look at images, you can actually see stills. There's a lot of images that popped up for me, where you can see, and on some of them you can see like it's harder to see in certain areas of the background because of how light it is. But like, I found that really, really cool. And of course, my first thought was David and I need to convince every project we ever work on from here on out to do that with our languages. But that to me was a very cool addition to the show.
A good night, Mateus.
Oh, good night, Mateus.
um, we're going to have some forms to look at.
Okay.
Shall I just say?
Ooh, Sissa Languages is watching the second season right now. Oh, you're welcome, Bib.
Okay. This is Halgoff. That's why. I didn't change anything here, did I? I didn't.
What do you...
No, I didn't. Okay, good,
Okay.
good.
I never took a complit course.
Neither did I.
Jake took one.
Dang it. I'll just leave that for the time being. There we go.
I'm very excited to see.
Okay, this is going to be... I don't even know how to describe this. Because it's not just velar, it's...
Uvular.
Well, it's not. It doesn't need to be uvular anymore, but it is velar, but not G. That's it. Like velar, but not G by itself.
And just use a little exclamation point G, excluding G.
Is that why the exclamation point is used? Excluding?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Oh wait, is there anything? Oh. Is there any way to get something that starts with K?
Oh my god, I'm reading them wrong. I was in the sound changes to try to like...
That's it. Ah!
Did you get it? Because
So it's velar fricatives. I need to come up with a code for these. We'll call that T initial. We'll call this KH initial. All right, so Rom, which I now need to get back to. Rom is cloud, which comes out as gem. Did you know that? The word for cloud is gem, Jesse.
I love it. Okay, so yeah, I found the rule now. Yeah, it's just the h and the r, so only the fricatives.
Orem. Gem. So, the genitive is actually the normal one. Onrem. Okay. All right. Now I beg you to draw your attention to something that begins with a QW. Oh, wait. I should write in what that word means. Gem, cloud, cat, dog, bone.
And when you say draw attention, do you mean you have the attention already, or do you need me to pull forms for you?
It might go faster if we both look for a form. I need something that begins with like a proto-cla.
Well, I found the non-labialized, several non-labialized.
Cled. Here we go.
Oh, there it is, rock.
Perfect.
I got there at the same time. I just want to point out.
Okay, so this one's okay. This one's okay. This one wasn't one that caused a problem. You can see that it's normal. Like,
Well, what fun is it if it doesn't cause a problem?
yeah. So I need to find one that causes a problem because there are some that cause mega problems.
What were the ones that have caused mega problems?
Maybe let's do. Oh, they would certainly have the word "well," which is clan. Let's try that. Okay. Yeah. So, what you're seeing here is that we had this epenthesis, right? Because it ended up with like some sort of a geminate. So what is well in Haugraf comes out as avau in our Fox language.
Right, right.
That is crazy. All right. And so the next one I think is the first and third are pretty clear. It should be ajau and hovau. It's this middle one.
And this was the one that we had talked about why it made sense. It was like this situation or one similar to it where it was like, what the heck? But then we actually talked through it and it made sense.
Well, this is what's happening. That M is changing to engma before the gemination and before there is an epenthetic vowel inserted. I think this stretches credulity a little bit, for this case form. And this is why. Essentially what is happening, you start off with well, which becomes well, which eventually becomes vel, and then it needs the epenthesis for that. And so it becomes, avau. The M has to be changing to engma at an early stage. So it would be ongvel, right? As these things are happening. And then at some point it becomes ongvao, which at that point, if it's a labial, why is it still velar? And then epenthesis happens?
I think for this prefix, kind of like going through the stages, given the heaviness of the consonant coming after it, I could see the nasal just dropping out and O being the prefix, which then blocks the metathesis. Oh, wow. There's a vowel there.
Yeah, I had a second idea, which was just to say the M goes in front of the A. But I kind of like your idea better. Okay. How many forms get this epenthetic vowel in the front? It's roi. Is it also hua? It is. How about Q? No. K? No. And certainly not the regular. Right.
Trying to see where the
No. What about LW? That one.
that should
That one
end
doesn't.
up with a WW, but
That one.
what
doesn't.
did we call? Okay.
Okay, no, not that one.
Thesis. It only happens with plus velar plus continuant followed by a consonant that is plus labial. So it's only going to happen where we have X phi or gamma beta side by side. So it has to be the aspirated K H wa or the G wa, right? Those are the only two that would end up that way, right?
Is it regular G? It's not regular G. It has to be, and it's not even the K, because that becomes a P.
Okay, so
So
it's the Q.
it's not Q,
What happens with the hua?
because the Q becomes the kfa. Kfa.
Okay, what happens with the fancy X labialized?
Yes.
The hua.
So those are the only two I found, basically. Hua and hua. That's it.
The voiced and the voiceless.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think those
Okay.
are the only two.
Okay. All right. All right, so then back to it. So we're going to do the word for clan. I don't even know how to target these, because they'll begin with every vowel, because it's a copy vowel.
Right. I think you would almost just have to say vowel, and then they're going to show up as beta beta, right? Or phi phi in their modern forms, like, because the voiceless ones, the h.
Yes.
And so put a capital V representing any vowel, beta beta, and then vowel again, or phi phi, and those are the forms that we need to target.
All right. All right. Yikes. All right. Let's...
That's right. We spell them with B's, not. I love it. It's so silly, but it happens. We know what we mean.
Yeah, except that becomes that. Yeah. Oh my, this is a cool language.
Crazy language. Why do you let me be in charge? Every time I'm in charge, things happen.
I mean, it sounds pretty cool though, doesn't it? A vow. A vow. O vow. A zhao. O vow. All right. Okay. Okay. Now, I want to... Let's do this. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Sometimes the ch is preserved. So now I need something that just begins with... Actually, let me see K real quick. All right, doesn't matter. Something that begins with K, or something that begins with H, or something that begins with R, with no modification.
Like no W is what you mean.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Oh, wait, no, I think we already covered that. Yeah, we did. We already covered that.
okay.
That's cloud.
Oh, right, yeah.
Okay.
Nothing happens with L, right?
Something did happen, but it wasn't something like that we couldn't. So we'll need to write it down, but it wasn't something we needed to discuss. Oh. Well.
Whoa, what happened?
Well. Okay, that's fun. That's fun.
You looking at the kill?
The gla, there's an epenthetic G. And then for this one, we have W, and then it goes to beta everywhere. How interesting. Okay. Wow. All right, so yeah, we need something that begins with L and something separately that begins with LW.
Quick question. What
Yeah.
did we do with instances like this isn't an L, it's an M, but we have this word mruf, M-R-U, phi, which means face.
Mm-hmm.
Did we do something different with consonant clusters?
Well, let's take a look. What do you mean error?
Yeah, the MR, I don't think we were allowing that.
No, we allow it, but what's
allow
happening
it.
is that the M goes to N and it doesn't allow, and then there's an inserted D,
Inserted D.
and we don't like NDRU. So that needs a copy.
A copy situation. Yeah. Okay. All right, so we don't have anything except clan names that start with an L.
Seriously.
That are nouns. Everything else is a verb.
Oh.
Sorry. So like Laqua is, one of them, and Lajiabe is the other one. Otherwise, we're running low on that.
Well, I guess this is an open question. We have leru, or lahu, which comes from leru, means to rain. How would we say that as a noun in Hauhaf?
How would we?
Yeah. Like, would we just zero derive that?
Didn't we have a lot of zero derivation? Wasn't that...
I thought we did, but I didn't remember. I think we did. I would just love to see an example. I'm going through all our verbs. Yep, there we go.
You found it?
Yes. To see, also sight. So then to rain would also have just rain. So that is going to give us our L noun. So we've got that at least. Adding that to the dictionary.
I didn't want to touch Lexergy until you were ready for me to do it, but let me know if you want me to do that copy val after the stream or whatever.
Mateus left and left me his back pain. Everybody tell him. Oh dear. Oh dear. How are we getting? What's the error? No combination of a symbol and diacritics as the matrix plus voiced nasal alveolo-palatal.
Oh, I just need to add a consonant. Because it doesn't even matter really what it is, I don't think. I think it just needs to be in there.
Because it's an E. Oh, this is interesting. Now we need two different A's. One that's followed by E and one that's followed by something other than E. Because I know what this is happening. It's the L is becoming palatal. And then alveopalatal before the consonant insertion is happening. So I believe this is going to show up as a D instead of a G. But here, let me just, I know that you'll want to change it for permanence later, but how do I do this? If I just want to make an alveolo-palatal nasal.
You just add one to the top.
Can it have like the exact same symbol?
No. So you're gonna have to use a different N symbol. We could use like the retroflex N just for this, it just needs to be a placeholder because it's like an in between. It's for the nasal place assimilation rule.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's technically how it goes.
and then I can write a cleanup rule to change it before we do the insertion.
Oh. It's not doing the epenthesis.
That's because it's not the exact environment. I have to do a cleanup rule. I see what I need to do. It's just once I get in there. So like in stop insertion, we need to decide one, is that going to be a G or a D given its location? If it's going to be a D, then do curly brackets N comma, and then the alveopalatal.
I see it. And I think it should be a D because I think that's fun. And so
Does an R never follow?
an M? No.
So it's only going to be Ingma L or NR. It's never going to be Ingma R NL.
Hang on a second. This is actually a question. I don't know if we want to go to this trouble. So let me ask you about L real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So L is fronting as palatal before E. And so L kind of has a split.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why L then kind of like remerges, but basically that's why we had G getting inserted in between Engma and L, because that was the only environment we considered. However, because of this early push when it's in front of E, we actually do get L preceded by an alveopalatal nasal, which would suggest a D insertion. Do we want to do that, or since this is a late rule, do we just want to say this is some sort of analogical thing and the foxes will always insert G in between a nasal and L?
Ooh, that is interesting. I'm trying to see specifically.
And I will give you a specific example that it could produce differences, like for one word, leisure would become ondleisure. For another word, laja would become onglaja.
Okay. Now, why is it alveopalatal and not just palatal?
Because it's pushing more forward. We killed all the palatals. We had a stage where there were palatals and they pushed forward. So it's like, cha, ja, na.
I'm trying to get there.
It's essentially post-alveolar.
There it is. Okay. So the I pulled the L up before the L changed completely to alveo. I think they're always going to do a GL.
Okay. In that case, all you have to do when you change the stop insertion rule is change it from in between Engma and L to between anything nasal and L.
Okay.
And that should fix it.
And then I still need to add in the alveopalatal up above so that way it doesn't freak out when it...
Yeah.
Because it needs to go to something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
That's fine.
Okay. Then I know
what was
how
the
to do
other
this.
thing I needed to change?
Add the alveopalatal nasal to the front.
No, I
So
know, not this. It was a rule before this. We were doing something before this. The insertion.
Yeah.
For the indla, like we needed a vowel insertion.
Oh, yeah, something beginning with NDR.
I gotta write this out. My brain is. I am ready for an afternoon nap. And then palatal, nasal. Okay. I have noted in my note app what I need to do.
By the way, the word for rain is lija. Lija.
Oh, that is really delightful.
Okay. And we don't have anything that begins with LW. Do we have anything that just begins with W?
Wall is I-W-A-L.
Huh, walleye. Okay, good. Because I believe good. Now show me that you're not gonna screw up. Good. Okay.
And also wobe is fish, W-O-B. If you want to try a W-O word.
That should be no change. Yeah.
The results are cut off again.
Oh, fiddle-dee sticks.
Woo!
Whoa, okay. So now we don't have to care if something begins with LW or W. It doesn't matter. It will do the same as something that begins with W.
Nice. Ooh, have fun with sword fighting night. Madeline's going sword fighting.
What? What kind of sword fighting? So you can't say things like that and then go, because like people want explanations. You know, you should have said, "I'll have to leave in 5 minutes because it's sword fighting night."
Give the 5-minute warning.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I might plug in some more words just to be sure, but I think that we hit all the major issues. And so we have the start of our cases. We didn't even talk about the combining yet. We needed to handle this first before we get to actually combining these and figuring out how the prefixes will change. But I'm going to make sure that there's no more surprises. Other than that, I think we're going to talk about number. As the pole. Maybe.
Because in Hogwarts we had like 8 different numbering systems. And by that I mean like there were several plurals. What's HEMA?
It's It's a historical reenactment of medieval combat.
Ooh, wow.
The
Fake swords, right? So we
yeah,
don't have to worry about Madeline, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but they can use them. But Joey was a part of the break-off splinter group Arma, which had a philosophical dispute with Hema, and so.
Hmm. Interesting.
But Hema is bigger and more worldwide.
Um, ooh, chorizo, okra chicken, and tomatoes and beans. Ooh, that sounds good, Jake. Um,
In what?
stew, because Jake said they were leaving in 5 minutes to go eat rice and stew because you said people needed to announce 5 minutes early. So I
Yeah.
followed up with what kind of stew?
Yeah. I would ordinarily say in it. What about you? Do you accept that?
What?
It's got chorizo.
Oh, I would put it after it. Yeah, that's how my natural inclination would be. But
Dark Horse! Oh my gosh, you're here! It's like almost the end. But we're so happy to see you. You've given me an interesting idea.
dark horse with the transformation
Yeah,
magic.
didn't consider that. Or at least not for a long time. I don't know how that would
Yeah,
work.
Jonathan, that's what I was thinking too. But then I couldn't remember, and I can't speak for how British speakers feel about using in versus in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, bratwurst. That's always a nice time.
Ooh, gnocchi Alfredo with roasted broccoli. That's what Miles is having. Bit spicy, isn't it?
In it, get it?
But only into tablecloths. Yes. These are my foxes, after all.
So the interesting question is, and this is going to go kind of far afield, but it's like when you think about, you know, classes like druids in World of Warcraft, they shape change into animals, and you know then they do stuff. Animals like. Because, like, I'm thinking about it, and it's like, well, what would these animals be shape-changing into? And it's like, insects?
Why would they want to be an insect?
That's something that we would say, definitely. But, like, you have to look at it from their perspective as, like, you know, furred fellows are the only ones they know. Would they find the insects interesting? I don't know. Like,
Birds.
well, there's birds and there's also lizards, I suppose. But it's still a question of if the birds are going to become sentient at one point. Anyway,
Become trees. Like you're trying to kill them, and suddenly they're like giant oak.
shape changing into plants. That's kind of an interesting idea.
It's like a defense mechanism.
Anyway, yeah.
Oh, and Jonathan is asking if there's still going to be non-anthropomorphized animals. Could they change into one of those?
Also an interesting question.
And so, I think Jake.
Definitely fish.
Yeah, Jake had mentioned fish. Oh, it just had a quote mark before it. I was looking for something interesting on the fish because Jake said that was meant to be fish, but then I realized it was just the second quote missing.
Okay, there's enough material here now that I'm looking at how off. There's enough material here to do a poll on number. Okay.
Yeah, because we had I feel a lot of options.
Yeah.
And so, perfect. Yay! Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you for appreciating my tablecloth and human forms. And we will be here next Thursday, which is May 1st. It's going to be May. Oh, yeah, so if you're a patron, I think we're doing things. So be on the lookout for things. Excellent. Well, David, take us out.
Oh, the patron live stream Saturday.
There we go. We're doing things Saturday.
1 p.m.
1 p.m.
All right.
Love you all. Happy conlanging. Stay grammar.
Bye, everybody.